Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 21 of the NFP podcast presented by 3D Entertainment. The NFP podcast is brought to you by Sneaky Weasel Lager and Hey Y'all Southern Iced Teas, the official alcohol sponsor of the show. As well, our official clothing sponsor, Wrangler. Long live Cowboys. What's up, everybody? We're back another week. Lots of action, lots of stuff on the go. We'll start it with introducing the boys. Jason Davidson, how you doing today?
Not too bad, LT. Just watching a little hockey here, actually. So if I'm not entirely focused on you two, I apologize.
Oh, you got better things to do?
Yeah. What's different? What's different than last week and the week before that and the week before that? Fuck.
I'm just taking in a little bit of a hockey game here. Looking forward to having a visit with you boys. Speaking of hockey, is that where we're going with this week?
Yeah, she's a hockey week. She's a big hockey week for the
big hockey week. How about 3 cheers for the Sasky boys, Gordie Howe and Patrick Marleau?
Fucking right. Represent.
Yeah. I like it. I think that's pretty awesome.
All right.
How many games is it officially?
God, just wait. God damn it. I got to introduce. Oh, for fuck's sake. Here we go. Okay.
Hold on. Let me get my bubbles glasses on. Have you guys watched SwearNet? You guys got to watch SwearNet.
Hey,
have you heard of it?
Fucking shut up. Can you shut up for a second? He was going to introduce me.
Yeah, but we'll get back into SwearNet here in a minute. But yeah, again with us, Scotty Byrne. How you doing today?
Good, fellas. How are you? Good to see you again. I missed you. I really did. Even you, Jason. I missed you.
Hey, Scott, it's always good to see you, pal.
SwearNet, where are you going with that, though? Do you like that? Did you watch Trailer Park Boys when they were hot on FX?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Channels?
Yeah. And then Twyla's friend Carla was here on the weekend and told us about this SwearNet. Hadn't heard about it. I thought they just did it, but apparently it's quite a few years old.
Oh, yeah.
Well, shit, did we laugh? Like, it's just, I don't even know how you explain it. Just, it's like dumber and the dumbest with a lot of swearing, right?
Yeah.
Like, real point. Just
what is it?
Shit.
What is it?
Scott,
you
gotta
watch it.
Boys?
You gotta watch it.
Yeah, a little bit. Like, I didn't really get into it.
I think it was more like probably my generation, but I remember like Gage Gay and those guys when I'd go to the States, and most of those guys, the only thing that they knew about Canadians was, hey, you know the Trailer Park Boys? Nah, fucking right. Yeah. But yeah, SwearNet is like their own streaming platform that they kind of make their shows on now. They still have seasons of their own, but they have their own internet channels and shit now, and it's just Ricky and Julian and Bubbles and the boys they do like in prison and all sorts of shit. But yeah, legendary, man. Trailer Park Boys on the show.
So Bubbles is not wearing his glasses and stuff in it though. They're actually a little more sophisticated, the 3 of them. And that possible. At the end of the show, they sit across from themselves from the Trailer Park Boys and negotiate a deal. That was one of the highlights of the show at the end. It's pretty funny.
For the record, I didn't really get into Trailer Park. I mean, I watched it and everything, but I have been fucked up drunk in Bubbles Bar in Halifax. I will tell you
Mike
that.
Smith. Yeah, Mike Smith. Yeah,
I remember. You know what? Here's a good story about that. That was back in the day. Like we were Halifax and Charlottetown, right? Back-to-back weekends out there.
You bet.
Anyway, that was in the fall. And it must have been one of our last events because I just remember in the spring looking for my straw cowboy hat and I could not find it. Couldn't find it anywhere. And I'm kind of getting, I couldn't even blame it on my kids at that point because they're just little. Jackson might have been 2, 3 maybe at the time. And I am having hell. I'm looking, and my house isn't that big, our old house at the time, and I just can't find it. And it's just like, you don't wear it in the winter. Where could it have went? And I happened to be talking to Austin Beasley, and he's like, "What are you up to?" I'm like, "I'm looking for my straw hat." He goes, "Well, it's probably on the Atlantic Ocean." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Don't you remember you sold it to that fisherman for $200?" I said, "No, I don't." But that was in Bubbles Mansion. We had a time. Oh. And I said, "Did I really get $200 for it?" He goes, "Yeah." He gave you 2 $100 bills for it, and then we spent it on shots. Awesome.
Always selling something. I thought you might have got it hat stomped. We usually use straw
No,
hats. Straw
no,
hats.
I
You
haven't been a
fucking
victim of that.
stomp the
I
shit out of those
punch. No, I like my hat and how it's shaped. I just start throwing punches.
things.
But for the record, Halifax was like top 5 places I've been to. That was a fun time. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh,
I
unreal.
agree.
Is there any more to elaborate on that, Scott, or just it?
Well,
No.
you can ask Reagan if she got any special bracelets in Halifax outside of a bar one time. And technically, if it wasn't for Scott Schiffner, she might have spent the night in the Crowbar Hotel. But we'll just leave it there. We'll just leave it there.
Have you ever went? Have you ever been cuffed and stuffed? You ever had the fucking drunk tank?
Yeah, Tyler Thompson's wedding. I tried to hail a cab through the Tim Hortons window, and apparently they didn't like that. and it was in Okotoks, and the funny part was I was just trying to do the responsible thing. It was actually me and Jesse. It was a wild night. And I knocked on the window, and the girl opened the window. I said, "Hey, could you call me a cab or give me the number to a cab?" And she goes, "Yeah." She shuts the window, and the cop shop is right across the street in Okotoks. It was like a SWAT team dropped out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I mean, lights, sirens, whatever. They throw me on the hood of the car and cuff me. I think they thought I was going to rob the Tim Hortons. And I tried to be funny because they threw me in the car, literally put it in drive, drove 200 feet, put it in park, and pulled me out the back. And I said to the cop, I could have saved you some taxpayers' fuel money and just walked across the street. I thought it was funny. He did not.
He didn't like that. So he spent the night.
Yeah, spent the night. Yeah,
Brutal.
that's the only time, though. Thank God.
Yeah, thank you, Jesus. Thank you. So what went on this weekend? We had a little bit of a different episode last week with Brandon Tomei and the Canadian Pro Rodeo Sports Medicine team talking about rodeo camp that's coming up, but we kind of missed a full week of updates on what's been going on with everybody. So Scott, maybe we'll start with you. What you got? What do you have on the go?
Oh man, just spring's coming. Just trying to get ready for. I know it sounds crazy, but haying season, and actually we're selling clothes again. We got another run of clothes here to get out the door, and kids are getting excited for high school rodeo. We're hoping that's going to fly this spring, starting beginning of May. But once again, the old C word, and it's going to wreak havoc with us again. But yeah, just been busy. It's exciting. It's a busy time of year around here.
Yeah, that's good. That C word that you're talking about seems to be fucking with my NFP events as well. They just announced in Saskatchewan that until May 10th, we're going to be 10 people maximum outside. So kind of cuts me short for my May 28th, 29th event, but we'll see. Maybe it'll open up after that, or we'll see what goes on here with the May long weekend and all that sort of shit. But still pushing forward, still going to roll. See what goes on.
You think we get $2,500 a ticket?
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, fucking sell her out. There's probably people at this point that would fucking do that are on the same page as us, that are just ready to fucking go.
Yeah, you know what? Enough's enough. This is horse shit. You know what? If you're scared of the shit, stay home. Plain and simple. Yeah. If you want to come out and drink a beer at Tanner Burns' place and watch some bulls buck and have a good time, then come on down. We'll be ready.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you're one of the people hoarding toilet paper, you're one of the people falling for all the bullshit that's going on now. They just warmed us up with the toilet paper story.
Yeah.
Now they're really sticking it to us.
Yeah. If you want to drink the Kool-Aid, I guess you're gonna run like the Kool-Aid guy. So
yeah, definitely. There's that's the thing. There's the dangers of it, and as we've talked earlier, it's if you are, you have a immune system that is vulnerable and you can't handle it, we're not against you. Fucking that's fine. Stay home. And if you don't agree with people going and doing stuff, that's fine. Then don't agree with it. The people that I think, if you want to go and do it, you want to live your life and not worry about that sort of stuff. And if something happens to you, you're on your own.
Mm-hmm.
Let the rest of the world let the rest of the world go at it, and if you're in that state or you feel that way, then that's fine. Stay home. Nobody's going to judge you for staying home or wearing a mask or doing any of it. Crazy times. We got to make sure that people that can't stay at home and work from home can still make a living. There's people dying on the other end of it, not because of COVID, but dying because of what's happening in the world right now. We
The
gotta get to it.
Yeah.
No, I seconded LT. I second that.
Jason, what about you? What have you been doing? What's your last couple weeks been about?
I've been watching lots of hockey. I'm not gonna lie, probably a couple games a day. Why are you laughing at me, Scott?
Well, I know you watch a lot of hockey. Period. I knew that's what you were going to say.
Well, I am. I'm actually.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you.
Well, because your guys are working so hard in your schedules, now I'm trying to balance two things: do the pod and watch this game, which is it's not easy to do. You know, I can't multitask like that. But other than hockey, spent some time on the phone with some of our PBR venues last week. You know, putting Plan B together, which might be one venue for 10 performances. And we've narrowed it down to 2 right now. But fortunately, with our scheduling, we don't have to make that decision here for a little while. So we'll just see what
back to that point. It's already getting back to fucking it's gonna
2 weeks flatten the curve, fellas. That was 13 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I got to commend you and the team, your team, on that planning, or having the fortitude enough to look ahead and say, okay, let's push these all back to September, because that bought you more time. And I mean, if we got to go into the bubble for 10, great, right? At least we can do it.
Well, we didn't want to go through what we did last year. Like, we rescheduled everything out into May, June, and then had to reschedule. Like, that wasn't fun. It just it's a lot of man hours, and everybody was trying to do it. And when I talk about everybody, I'm talking about promoters, from country music promoters to rock and roll promoters, any live event stuff. But there's only so many dates and so many weekends in a calendar year, so it's pretty interesting right now. I've had some conversations here with the billing manager in Saskatoon, Scott Ford, also with Kim Galucci in Lethbridge, and there's not too much going on. They're looking at rescheduling for 2022 now.
Jeez.
Oh shit! That's what I was gonna ask you. What's Scott Ford and those buildings?
Well, we're gonna put Saskatoon on sale here. I'm not gonna give too much away, or Casey will string me up. But we're going to put it on sale. We're not going to advertise it except for social media and whatever platforms Sestel Center has. But that's coming here in the next month. The curling trials, Canadian curling trials, are on sale. They would follow our event actually in 2021 here in November in Saskatoon. So we're going to put it on sale.
No fans.
Yeah, they're selling tickets, and it went very well. Like, it's selling well. The Curling Classic is selling every other row and staggered. So they are socially distanced selling tickets, and they're selling well. You know, curling to Saskatchewan is just like a gopher is to Saskatchewan. You can't get rid of it.
Yeah,
there's more than one.
There's more than one.
So hopefully but that you're pushing that shit back to November, you're saying?
Yeah.
Fuck. Jeez,
yeah.
Bro. So if you're a guy like me that's banking off of bull riding and live events for a living, you might want to get a job for the fucking summer, is what you're saying.
Have you ever had one of those, LT? Like a real one?
Speaking of my last week, Jesus Christ.
Did you go to work?
Oh, I've been fucking on the fence line, boys. God damn.
Yeah, but that's not really work. Like, it's hard work, but that's not work. Unless you're doing it. Who are you doing it for? Are you doing it for yourself?
Yes, I'm my own boss. I'll never do anything that I'm not my own boss.
Okay, now we're getting down to it. Yeah.
She's fucking work though, boys. She's fucking work. Yeah.
That's just ranching, man.
Got some
that's just ranching.
Do what?
That's just being a rancher.
No, but like, we obviously, fence stuff, the home quarters and shit, and for ourselves. But this is branching out fencing, custom fencing for other people, highway jobs. Jobs, yeah, all around.
Nice.
My boy, Lone Cadlick Catnip bought himself a pounder, so we've put our business license to work, and we've been bidding jobs and getting some shit done. So
Oh, good
Yeah,
for you boys.
she's been most of the grindstone getting shit done. We've had what did we do? A couple quarters here last week, couple miles that we've got through, and yeah,
That'll harden you up. Just like
So
Rocky Balboa and Rocky 4, you're in the outdoors training.
yeah, especially me and him, because me and him. But if anybody knows how good me and Caddy get along, we're best friends, but we're kind of like brothers, where we can fucking battle it out and get in a good fist fight, and then we can get back to work. And but she's a battle every day.
so Logan's out there pounding posts right now, and you're doing pods.
You damn right.
Yeah, when you
Still getting paid,
that
though,
from your
son of a
dad.
bitch.
You come by that naturally.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you plant a potato, you get a potato, eh?
Yes, sir. Yes,
No, we've
sir.
been good. It's just the two of us, so we're just the team. And you guys know, and anybody that's fenced, you know how what goes into that with two guys. So she's been full steam ahead, 7-7. So
Those
Nice.
hats sure look good, fellas. I've been looking in the mailbox every day.
yeah, you get yours here one day. I just been shipping them out to the
paying customers.
paying customers here. Yeah, that one looks good,
Nice.
Scotty. Got this one too, boys, for you YouTube folks. Check this
Nice.
out. This is fresh. This isn't even on the market yet.
Well, paint hasn't even dried on that sucker yet.
No, this sucker's fresh. So there's a few of those. That's a mug for those that are not on YouTube. It's a mug with our NFP logo on them, and we got some hoodies and we got some T-shirts and
Can our,
bunch of
can our
stuff coming
listeners
on.
order yet, or we don't have that?
No, yeah, no. These are still fresh. We're just making sure everything looks good before we put them.
Where are we
put 'em
going with
out
that?
for
On the
market.
3D bull riding website? Is that where everybody's going to find that?
Yeah, we'll line it out once we get everything lined out. We'll link it to the 3D bull riding website, and we should probably talk about that too, Jason. You haven't really brought that up very much. That we redid the whole 3D bull riding website and got all our guys on there and a whole kit and kabang there.
I'm not really one to gloat and brag. That's your job, buddy. You're the new LT.
Jesus.
You're supposed to be talking up our tremendous lineup of athletes. All the world buckles on that page.
Yeah. So yeah, 3dbullriding.com.
Few Canadian buckles as well.
Oh, all the best, man. All the best. Speaking of that, did you guys see the bull riding last weekend? Anybody tune in?
Did not.
I know I didn't either.
I think my bull come out as the number one bull, though, didn't it?
Yeah. I did see some highlights on social media and stuff, so I'm kind of in tune with what happened. But yes, Jason, yes.
Whoopa?
Yes.
Who picks the Whoopa?
Yeah, Whoopa rolled it again. I think he had a 47 or 47 point out. And he had Keyshawn on him. He's a right-handed guy, and he got dusted right away. So I think if you get dusted around the corner on that bull, he looks fucking salty. But once you get around there and get to fucking styling and riding, he's gonna ride pretty good. So, but
yeah. Well, you got to get around there first now on my old bull now.
And even once you get around there, he still has every aspect of the point systems that they judge on.
Mm-hmm.
He has it all, you know.
Yeah.
He keeps it up like he's doing right now. He's untouchable. He's like a bruiser from those years that he won all those world titles. You're not gonna touch him if he keeps that up, right?
I was gonna say, barring any injury or anything, do you think he's just gonna run away with it the way things are going?
Yeah, and Pro Bull Stats had a tweet the other day talking about it. That same thing. If his lowest scored out or lowest marking was a 45 or a 45 and a half, and that was in the snowstorm in fucking Del Rio when it was super cold. So yeah, he's probably gonna.
That's how I pick him, bro.
Front runner.
That's how I pick him.
Joao Ricardo Vieira though takes the win.
No, not on my bull. I didn't.
No,
not on my bull. I didn't.
Okay.
How's your bull rider doing there, Scott?
He's just still warming up, boys. You just wait.
What do we think?
I like that kid.
Timelines on Dalen when he's coming back or anything like that?
I haven't heard.
I talked to Sylvan, my brother from another mother there from Saint T, Quebec, and Zach Bourgeois is headed there. His son is headed. One of our up and coming PBR riders is heading down to Dalen's next week, and I didn't even ask I didn't even ask Sylvan if he knew when he was coming back.
Yeah, 'cause he's supposed to.
You know, you get used. Yeah, we used to see Dalen every week up here. You know,
Yeah.
It was nothing for Dalen to fly from New York to Saskatoon and drive to North Battleford, Saskatchewan to win first. You know.
No.
And all of our Monster Energy events he was at, but I haven't communicated with him too much in the last couple months actually. So maybe reach out.
Maybe
to
he's
that young
past
man,
it.
see how he's doing.
Gonna come back. He's gonna realize that he can't fucking rodeo and bull ride and go to 6,000 events now that he's 25 years old. And
Yeah.
It only took 1.5 years to catch up to him, eh?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we'll be looking for him to get back, Scott, at some point, hopefully. Jesus, because you're fucking falling way behind.
Yeah, like, oh boy.
My boy that we can go back to the first episode that we talked about this, but Ka'ike Pacheco, remember I was talking about him, should have took him. Jesus. See the show he put on last weekend, rides.
Was he a 94?
94.
You get a 94
points. Yeah, 94 points on Chiseled. And I mean, stomped him. Did you see it? Stomped his heart out.
I did, and I talked to Casey today. That 15-15 was pretty good, huh?
Oh, yeah, it was unreal.
He said it was because they only rode 5 bulls maybe in the long round.
Yeah.
So they needed that, you know. There's nothing worse than nobody staying on at a bull ride. Like, can really suck the life right out of a crowd, you know. Flint can only break dance and do the Michael Jackson so many times to keep the crowd entertained, you know.
And now did Lockwood get hurt? He didn't get on.
Oh yeah.
Was that last weekend?
Yeah, wiped him out a bit. It was a classic round too, and that fucking, so when you see the 5 rides in the first round and people are always talking about that, there's only this many rides, and then you watch the 15-15, they smash out 90s. They know those 15-15 bulls, right? When you're going into it, you know what you're fucking getting at. And everybody, those top 15 guys are more thinking about those 15-15 bulls, and they're thinking about the 3 or 4-year-old calves that they're getting on that round. And I don't know what it is. There's just something about classic rounds that fuck with guys. Same as when I was going, and it was always just, you stayed on the classic round, you were fucking good to go for the weekend because nobody was staying on in those classic rounds. There's just something about them, their calves. You know, some of them run off, some of them have fucking different trips. It's just whatever it is, it's something in the back of the minds. But there's never a lot of rides in those classic rounds.
Right. And it is probably just the unknown. You don't know, right?
Yeah, just new ones. And I mean, you'll fucking have bulls in there that in 2 years are going to be or next year or this year could be in the running for bull of the world. You know, you'll have bulls like Whoopa or Riding Solo that are in the long rounds, but you don't know what they are because they're just entered in the classic round, but they're full-fledged 94, 93, 94 pointers. So it's like, oh, why'd you get bucked off that one? It's like, well, wait 2 years and you see where this oh. But yeah, Lockwood got on. I don't even know what the bull's name was, but he bucked. I think he might have won the classic too, but just didn't have a good day. He just didn't ride very good. He just got his, just got sat back a little bit, and not the Jess Lockwood that we're all used to seeing. And I ended up underneath him, and fucking bull stepped on his leg, on his femur, like. Should have been, it was a deep thigh bruise that got him, but fuck, could have snapped that.
Could have snapped that femur.
Oh, like within.
Yeah, I go back to our conversation. I wonder, you think maybe, I hate to say it, but do you think maybe he's checked out if he's already talking about retiring?
That's a thing from our conversation with him. There is that side of it that it not necessarily checked out from it, but where you just don't
100% all in.
Yeah. When you're talking like that you're already thinking about, you want to win another world title, but you don't want to fucking be there anymore. Really. Like that's going to play with you.
Well, you went through it. I remember.
I was just going to say that.
Quebec City. I think it was Quebec. You were back in your hotel room before the bull ride was even over, weren't you?
Fuck yeah. You couldn't even.
And weren't you entered? Were you entered twice?
Yeah, skip the intros and skip the outros, baby.
No, Jason, you're exactly right. And Tanner, the writing was on the wall without saying anything. I think we could see it in you, and I think the same thing with Jess a little bit. You just what goes back to Cowboy Cerrone, it's hard to be hungry kind of when you're full, and that
Right.
sense of it for him.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens.
The best thing with him though is he can look at a guy like Cooper, who was the exact same way. And we talked about it in Cooper Davis's podcast where he was fucking done. I'm telling you, I was right beside him in the locker room and we were both just, nah, we're out. Fuck it. And now you see Cooper rejuvenated, wanting to win a world title. So the best thing about a mind is that it can change. You know, you can change your mindset within a weekend. So I think Jess is kind of
Michael
on that
Jordan
track
did it
where he's
twice,
like,
didn't
fuck
he?
everybody, fuck everything. I'm just, you know, I don't really care anymore. And then he's going to get to a point where he's going to say, I fucking fuck it. I want to win and I'm going to go and kill it. And he'll be untouchable again. Like Jess could win 8 more world titles. You know, Donnie Gay's the 8-time world champion. Jess could win fucking, what's he, a 2-time world champion already? He could win. He's 23 years old. You know, McBride didn't win a world championship till he's 26. Lockwood could be an 8-time PBR world champion. He's that good.
Yeah.
And I think that he's in a lull right now where he's talking about, you know, fuck this and whatever, fuck that, and I don't care anymore. He's gonna hit a side post where he's gonna say, I do care and I do want to go win. And you'll see him go.
And here's the thing too, is I know Jess had some injury early on in his career, but in the last year and a half or so, or 2 years, I guess, year and a half, he's really had to deal with some serious stuff, right? More injury than before, more consistently injured. And, you know, sometimes that mentally plays on you too, as well.
Oh yeah. 100%.
So
a lot of shit. And that's the thing that you don't see about guys is you see they're in the arena stuff and you don't see outside the arena. You don't see what's going on, you know, family wise or kid wise or all the extra stuff that goes on. You don't see that stuff, and that shit plays on you every day, especially in a professional sport. You see football players and hockey players go into hotel rooms and, you know, pretty much quarantine themselves when big games are on just to focus on that game, you know? So there's a lot of different stuff that goes on behind the scenes that you don't get to see on TV, and you just say, well, he should have wrote that one or should have done that. But I promise you, Lockwood, I think, in my opinion, he'll do the Cooper Davis, and those guys will both get back on each other's side, start feeding off each other, and start wanting to just fucking show who they are and go kick some ass again, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I hope so.
We'll see. And then Joao Ricardo Vieira, the old boy, takes another win. Holy shit. He just
old boy.
Yeah. I wonder, like, it's crazy to think of PBR without Joao anymore. You know, he's the smiling assassin. He's got his still wears that cowboy hat and just rides everything they put under him. 94 pointers, 92 pointers, it doesn't matter. 81 pointers. They all talk shit that he couldn't ride. He's 37 or 38.
Jesus,
can't ride away from his hand. He'll ride him away from his hand, and they all talk shit about that's why he's never won a world title. Well, he's fucking won top 5 the last 10 years or some fucking thing.
He's
like
making
the guy's
a living.
Yeah, he's one of the best that there's ever been, and just shows it again this weekend.
I was just gonna say, if you want something that'll revive an old ex-bullfighter's mojo, Brayden's, my son, my eldest boy, Brayden's got his first paid gig this weekend. So he's going through my rigging bag. I haven't seen that thing for like 6-7 years. And I know the people at home can't see this unless they go on YouTube, but Jason, you'll get a kick out of this. He pulls this t-shirt out of the rigging bag. And for everybody that can't see it, it's a Dirty Sanchez t-shirt that I wear fighting bulls. And for anybody that doesn't know that bull, he was one scary motherfucker.
Oh, he's meaner than shit. And then
we talked about him in Jesse's podcast, the bullfighting podcast.
My brother-in-law Dean and his buddy Jory Klinger, Scorpion Oilfield, who was the title sponsor at that the Bradford Memorial for the entirety. That's where they bought Dirty Sanchez, and they got to name him. So you guys everybody listeners can use your imagination what kind of guys Jory and Dean are. But the best part of that was listening to Dave Paulson promote Dirty Sanchez, because that bull was probably one of the most famous bovine athletes in Canada that season. Like,
Fuck yeah.
everybody knew who he was. And
Oh,
we had
yeah.
hats and t-shirts, and he was there was something not right with him. Like,
he was big, and when they bucked him under a different name, he would go out there, not one or two, he'd go out there 5 or 6 and get to whirling. And every time he'd come around, he was just, come on, who's coming out to get one of these guys, you know?
Hey, one of my favorite, I don't know if we told this in Jesse's pod. We had a bullfight. We were promoting the Professional Canadian Bull Riders Finals in Lloydminster. And we had a bullfight, and Trooper Whitney from Calgary, around Calgary there, came to the bullfight, and he drew old Dirty Sanchez. Well, old Dirty Sanchez had a day. He did have a day. He was even meaner inside, I think, because of the dart. Like, he really thought he was, confined to traps. He was even scarier inside. And Trooper gets up from his ass hooking and mauling, and all he's got on is the sweatband from his cowboy hat. There's no cowboy hat on his head, just the sweatband.
Oh, did it rip his shoulder out too, or break his arm or something?
Oh yeah, hurt him.
Oh god.
Yeah.
I think I have a video of it in Lloyd too. Yeah, same thing. That thing just fucking punted him, and he bounced off the 2 W's, and he went to just like fuck it, and he went to throw his shoulders in the air and just that fucking arm.
I will never forget the look on that guy's face when he brought his head up, and all there was that sweatband around his head.
Oh, I remember trying to motivate guys to get in the bullfights. There was him, and then remember Scories had Pee-wee, the bull Pee-wee?
Lane's Pain
and then
Train.
Rod. Yeah, we fought that bull for a while. And it was at Lashburn, actually at the Brad Phipps Memorial. I forget who had him. I don't remember the kid really. I remember him calling, wanting to get in some bullfights, and so I was
Lyle Liddell. Remember Lyle?
Yeah,
heavy.
Maybe that's who it was. Was he from Moyen area, around there somewhere?
I don't know where Lyle was from. He's friends with like Bear Light Brown and Keenan. And
yes. Yeah. Anyway, old Pee-wee tossed him right over the panels. Never even touched one.
Well, I'll add to that story. When you introduced him, like the freestyle bullfighters, when he came out, because he was pretty heavy at that time.
Yeah, he's like a fucking fitness dude now. He's all stacked up, but at the time he was fucking not in the freestyle bullfighting shape by any.
No, not at all. My wife Reagan was sitting in the stands, and I was fighting the bull riding, so I was just kind of there as the pick bulls off guy kind of guy. She comes up and tugs on my shirt, and she goes, "Is this a fucking joke? Like, is this guy in the bullfight?" I'm like, yep. And it wasn't even a minute and a half later, they pitched him into the second row of the bleachers right over that fucking 8-foot panel. It was, wow. That was crazy.
I miss those bullfights.
Yeah. You know what I would have to do to get into those bullfights? Drink me a bunch of Hey Y'all Southern Iced Teas. All pack.
Nice segue.
Hey y'all, Southern Iced Teas. Our tea is always served iced and hard. This vodka-based iced tea is brewed with genuine black tea and lightly sweetened. Enjoy a Hey Y'all Southern Iced Tea while taking in the main bull riding or bullfighting event, or sipping a cold one on the porch. Hey Y'all Southern Iced Teas, the official refreshment beverage of the NFP podcast. And if you were gonna fucking nod for those fucking big half-breed fucking bucking bulls / Mexican fighting bulls cutting off motherfuckers, I'd have been shit-faced for it all. I guarantee you that.
Tell me how you really would have done it.
Got a good buzz on and said, let's go.
I hope this doesn't hurt as bad as I think it's gonna.
Yeah, so shit. Like we said with Jesse's, with his podcast, it kind of, that's the only way that you can make your name, same as you, Jason, right? When you were entering those 100%. Types of bullfights, you weren't getting hired, so you could enter those things and maybe win some money at them. But
I had it twice as bad though. One, I had to fight Mexicans, and 2, I had to try and press your dad. It sucked. It was hell.
Jesse did too. He had to fight the fucking old bucking bulls, and same as Dad. Like, I think as much as we talk about the Mexicans and like how hot they are, would you guys rather fight those fucking Mexicans, or would you rather fight those?
Yeah, I did. I wanted to.
Breeds?
No, the Mexicans.
Fucking right. Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
time.
100%.
Every
we
time.
watched I think it was called the American Bullfighter at Prescott's there a couple weeks ago, and god damn, those big fucking brindle wide horn,
Fuck yeah.
they were
They're
right?
2,000 fucking pounders.
Yeah.
Hey, you know
They
what?
were
Here, this
fucking smart. They weren't coming like the Mexicans will get smart when you fight them a few times.
yeah.
But they're
But
still
they still
fucking
come.
like
They still
longhorns.
come,
They're
and they
not
got their
fucking
head down.
2,000 pounds.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they still carry their heads pretty low to the ground, and they come to fight. Those crossbreds, they just want to like body check you, like Luke Schenn, and lay you out and run the length of you.
I'll give it credit where credit is due. Back in the day, them guys watching that there the other day, no vest, no nothing, which we just think is totally out of this world nowadays. But man, they had a set of nuts on them to go out there and then try and jump those big bastards too.
And a bottle of whiskey, some of them.
Yeah, and
true.
a lot of how many?
Yeah. Go fast, Oklahoma.
Fuck.
Oklahoma.
I wouldn't be fucking right. Kudos to them. Fuck, I wouldn't be nodding for them motherfuckers either.
You know, in '99, when I was working for Harper at those rodeos, the Wrangler bullfights were done. In fact, Mr. Harper hired me for those rodeos to go to the bullfights, and then Wrangler quit sponsoring and didn't have them. So he let me come to 3 of the 6 I was supposed to go to. And there was a bull named Hillbilly. That bull broke Mike Matt's ankle real bad and broke Rob Smet's neck. Mm-hmm. We had to fight that bull. We had Memphis with 7 perfs. We nodded for that bull 4 times just for sell. That was our finish the perf. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, awesome.
But you got at least you had a Travis Adams I was working with, who was he was good, real good guy, but that bull wouldn't come to the barrel, so you couldn't fake it for 30 seconds.
That's the best when they come to the barrel, at least.
Yeah, we had to go run around that prick, and it was.
They used to do that to you guys, though, right? Like they would sell fucking all the shows as a bullfighter. Like you were hired to fight the bull, but you were hired to sometimes clown, then fucking run ropes, then fucking sell the show at the end, right, Scott?
Yeah, for sure. And that's what I was just going to say, Jason, and you can agree or disagree on this, but I personally don't give a fuck who you are. When you knew you had to like finish one at the end.
Yeah, you're thinking about it the whole time.
Oh yeah, 100% you were.
Yeah, I put an end to that, actually. That's another podcast in itself.
I think I know where it happened and who it happened with too.
Yeah.
Well, give us a teaser and then we'll get into it at one point.
Well, he no longer works for the Calgary Stampede, and I did not fight a bull. So I guess it worked out.
Okay. Yeah. On another note, boys, NFP podcast bump Justin Falesko. He gets back to work this weekend. PBR hired him back up. He's in Oklahoma
City.
They heard
us.
Fucking heard us. NFP bump. They listened.
Yes.
So good to see. Fuck.
It's so good we're getting some traction like that. It's so good we're getting some traction like that.
Damn right. Yeah. Just sat on Twitter and watched Falesko's tweets and got all the updates on all the whole event. It was so great. It's good to see him back.
It is. And that's how I used to find out how everything's going on. I just tune into Justin, and it's amazing. Like if you have a player playing in a Canadian market or an original 6, like a Ranger, Boston, Bruin, or something like that, they can't sneeze without you knowing about it on Twitter. Yep. Well, you got a guy in Florida or Arizona, like I do now. You can't find anything out because nobody tweets, nobody cares. It's a whole different world.
Yeah,
which
really
you wouldn't
think, right? You think that hockey's just hockey, but yeah, fuck.
No, you can't get anything out of like in Arizona or Florida. It's just it's different. New Jersey a little bit. They've got a couple bloggers or guys that tweet all the time, but. Yeah, it's. I think every sport should have that. We've made sure we do that with PBR. With Facebook and Twitter and whatnot. We want to have that stuff going live for social. It's important. People pay attention to it.
Oh, sure.
She's worldwide. Jason, maybe you can get into this a little bit better than me and Scott can. Our guests today, which is super fucking exciting. These guys are legendary in their sport. Stanley Cup champions. Super cool to have them on. Just Saskatchewan down home boys. You heard Ryan Whitney talk about Saskatchewan boys after Patrick Marleau passes Gordie Howe. in the most games played. You hear about Saskatchewan guys all through the world, just their hockey sense. And I feel like we got two of Saskatchewan's best to ever fucking do it, right from Saskatoon. You're friends with them on the show. Our guests coming up here. You can maybe elaborate on it a little bit more, but Brayden, Luke, Schenn.
Yeah, you bet. Well, just come right across the street from me. Neighbors, actually. And Brayden's talk about Patrick Marleau's big milestone. Brayden just played his 700th, and him and Luke together about 1,450 games. Which,
How old's Brayden too?
That's pretty. Pardon me.
How old's Brayden?
Brayden is he's a 91. What's that make him? 29?
29, yeah.
I think he's a 91.
He's
Yeah.
30 this year. So
Yeah.
he could have the 1,000 game. He could, yeah.
Oh,
he
yeah.
could play. He's been in the league since 18 or since.
No. He actually came back here. He played his last year of junior at the trade deadline as a 19-year-old here with Saskatoon Blades, and then he was drafted by LA, and then got traded to Philly. That's where him and Luke played together, which we'll make sure we touch on. But yeah, a couple of great Sasky boys. Whenever Brayden's home, we always get together either for maybe a fishing trip, but definitely for some cocktails on Thode Avenue and some good bullshit stories and whatnot. But yeah, real good down to earth family. We've known Jeff and Rita, their mom and dad, for as long as we've been here, a dozen years or so, and Luke and Brayden's sisters pretty much raised the boys when we're not around, when we could travel. So we've gotten pretty close, and you can tell that the apple don't fall too far from the tree. They've been raised right, and they go to work. They got work ethic, just playoff Brayden Schenn is an elite hockey player. It's he's a throwback, as some would say. He plays the game hard, and and then when you talk about his older brother Luke, 5th overall pick to the Maple Leafs, both of them 5th overall picks, a year apart, Stanley Cup champions a year
Is that
apart.
good?
Pretty special.
Is that a good thing? Is that good?
Yeah, not bad. But you know what you talk about answering the bell. That's what Luke Schenn does. He holds other teams accountable when he's on the ice, and that's what I admire about him. Good family, really really good friends of ours, and always rooting for him for sure. And had the pleasure of having Stanley Cup party with Brayden pre-COVID, and was fortunate enough to have the invite and had a blast. Ate some Ming shrimp out of the Stanley Cup. I told him we were going to do that if he wanted. So we ordered up 80 shrimp and dumped them in the Stanley Cup and had a little appy before we headed out to the Cross Mountain.
So you talked about Jeff and Rita, and they are salt of the earth people. I've been fortunate enough to hang out with them several times at your place and stuff. But has Jeff ever, over a beer or 10 with you, has he ever said what it's like for a dad to have two?
My boys are fucking legends.
Like superstar athletes at the top of the highest level you can be. Has he ever kind of said that to you that he wouldn't say to his kids or anybody else?
Well, it wouldn't be 10 beer. It'd be 10 spiced rums or 10 babies.
Correct me. Yeah.
No. We've talked. I brought it up. But no.
I know he's a humble man.
Very, very. I think Jeff played a huge role, coached those boys, never pushed them to be Jeff. You know what Jeff and I talk about is how ridiculous the parents are today.
Yeah.
Jeff, actually, the best Jeff Schenn hockey story I have is he had a mom trying to get him fired as the bantam coach because they weren't practicing enough. A mom thought they should be on the ice more. And I think that I'd have to ask Jeff again, but I think that's the year they won every single game they played.
Did Jeff have any hockey background?
Yeah. He played here in Saskatoon. He actually played with a couple of my uncles, Brad Brooks, Scott, Brad, and So I actually watched Jeff quite a bit when I was a kid. He wasn't scared to throw down either. So he's probably going to listen to this, so I can't brag him up too much. But yeah. He Jeff's a real smart hockey guy. He understands the game. I talked to him about a lot of stuff going on. Madison, her boyfriend Lane Peterson is one of my clients, and he's played 6 games now with Arizona. Good. So he's been doing good, and I know I've been over and following a game. Brayden or Luke both 9 times out of 10 usually call and have a visit with Jeff and go over some stuff. So that's pretty cool that you got that relationship with your kids. And
and Jeff, Jeff, he's like a 30-year veteran of the Saskatoon Fire Department, correct?
He sure is, retiring here next month. So next trip to Alberta, I'm just going to buy a case of Gibsons and a case of spiced Captain Morgan's, because if this COVID keeps up, we're going to have a lot of time on our hands. We don't have to drink. We don't have to drink and drive here on Thode. We just
hang out,
drink and walk. I remember I got cut open pretty good at the PBR Canada Finals in Saskatoon one year, and of course we ended up in your place afterwards. And he just, he's that type of guy. He looks at it, he goes, "Oh, geez, just hang on." He got some Band-Aids out and some scissors and tape, and he had me all. I was good to go. Shit, I didn't need to go anywhere. I just had to find Jeff. He had me fixed up. So
yeah, you know what? Guy. He as long as they're not away watching the boys, they usually take in every event here, and they've been. I believe they came out to Langham when we did the Curtis Decision out there, the Kelowna event. So same with Luke and Brayden.
Title at that one once.
The Langham one.
Fuck yeah, Curtis Decision got a buckle with his name on it.
You got a few 3D buckles back there, I noticed when I was at your place last. You're welcome. You're welcome there.
You're fucking welcome. You're fucking welcome. I came.
Yeah, you would. Fuck, you're welcome. You're welcome. You didn't. I just give that to you. You're good.
Yeah. No, I just talking about the buckles. I didn't need to buy a buckle.
Oh gosh, darn it. Schenn, what's the mom's name?
Rita.
Jeff and Rita should probably do the same thing that I told Chad Bestplug's parents and Joe Bestplug's parents to do. Is freeze your semen, because maybe down the line sometime in some place you breed fucking champions, god damn it, and maybe that's what the world's turning into nowadays.
Yeah.
Neil and Ginger bred two Calgary Stampede champions, and Jeff and Rita have raised and
2 Stanley Cup champions.
2 Stanley Cup champions, 2 5th-round picks. So that's probably something
5th
to hold
overall.
on to. Put that in the vault and hold on to her, because before we get to the interview with them, flowers are blooming. The grass is growing. It's time to chop the weeds. Thanks to our sponsor, Manscaped, you can trim your holes safely and efficiently. I'm talking about ball trimmers. Manscaped, the global leaders in men's below-the-waist grooming. We have an exclusive offer for our audience. Use the code NFP20 to get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. Join the offer. 2 million men who trust Manscaped. They are here to make sure you are trimmed and smelling nice. After all, it's time for some spring cleaning. Did you guys get your weed whackers?
Yeah,
sure did.
I got mine too. It's good.
And some cologne.
You got cologne too?
Yeah.
Fucking smells
so
good.
did I.
My wife was using the foot deodorant, and she was spraying it on me because it smelled so good. And then we got the
well, that might be a sign that you should have a shower, Tanner. Are you like Scott? Like, I talked to Reagan the other night, and I missed Scott's call. Believe it or not, I was watching a hockey game. So there's like 6 minutes left, so I called back when the game is over. And actually, that's a lie. I was watching Walker. I was watching Yellowstone. And
you've been into that?
Like, oh yeah. And I'm gonna, if you ever let me get off here, I'm gonna go watch another epi here right away.
Yeah.
And I phoned Scott's in the shower, and I said, oh well, at least he's showering this time before bed. And Reagan said, it was 5 days, Jason. And I'm like, you're kidding me. And she's like, no. And then he's yelling from the shower, it's not been 5 days. It was Sunday. And we counted it out. And I'm like, you're right. It wasn't 5, Reagan. It was 4.
Oh, well, you know, you're
laughing. You can't even defend yourself.
Hey, I just kind of go with the natural body oils, you know?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Fuck, that's gross.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Look like you combed your hair with a drumstick from KFC.
Yeah,
but the weed whacker is legit. I'm glad you guys got it. I got mine just the other day too, and just been smashing her down. Jason, you figured that you were older than them other guys that were on there, and you were talking to Brandon Tomei, who fucking has the biggest nose in the world with the most hair probably growing out of it.
Yeah, we're picking on him. He's not even on here to defend.
He's like, God damn it, you had a nose like this when you're 12 years old. You had nose hair since you were fucking 10. But I was happy to get my fucking weed whacker. This nose hair and ear hair trimmer provides proprietary skin safe technology. I fucked up proprietary twice now in 2 podcasts, but that's okay. Listen to it back. You'll hear, which helps prevent nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate holes. No more gross nose hairs flying in the wind. So we'll see where it goes, but it
is good stuff. It's well worth the dough. I'm telling you, it is.
Yeah.
20% off and free shipping with the code NFP20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code NFP20, capitalized NFP, at manscaped.com. It's spring cleaning, baby, and your balls will thank you. Oh, that's good. I like that. That's good. That's
Boom. Mic drop.
Okay, so with that, one thing we do have to talk about, Logan Beaver, Jay Gardner, Wyatt Gleason, Canadian boys, fucking rolling, killing it, entering every event, going everywhere. Logan Beaver wins second. He's top 40 in the world right now. I don't know where he was at this weekend at those events. I don't even know if he was entered or where he's at, but he's right there on the bubble. So we could see Logan Beaver on the top tour here right away, our good young Canadian guy. And that guy is turning into not just a good Canadian bull rider. Now he's turning into a good bull rider worldwide.
Yeah.
The guy's fucking doing it. You win second at one of those events, you get that momentum going. He's fucking showing it that anybody can fucking roll. I'm super proud of Logan Beaver. Good to see.
Yeah,
Jake Gardner, right? Good to see Logan Beaver.
Yeah, me too.
It is. And he's a good guy too, so he deserves it. That's fucking my thoughts.
Great. Yeah, fucking great. Jake Gardner doing the same thing, another top 10 finish, plucking them low points out. He's getting some good rides in, and then he's not getting that consistency together. He runs that consistency together. He knows that himself. He's been talking with me back and forth. You're going to see him on tour right away. Wyatt Gleason, them boys it takes the go, and they're going to go, and they're doing it, and they're going to get to that top tour. So keep your eyes out for all them boys on that tour, and super proud of them guys, and keep on keeping on, boys. Fucking roll it. And with that, we'll roll over to our interview with back-to-back Stanley Cup champions, Brayden and Luke Schenn. Our guests today are both Stanley Cup champions. Luke with the Tampa Bay Lightning, Brayden with the St. Louis Blues. NHL legends going on 10-plus years now. The brother duo straight out of Saskatoon, Luke and Brayden Schenn. How are we doing today, guys?
Doing good.
Pretty good. Thanks for having us. How are we boys doing?
Good. Thanks for coming on. It's going to be hard to figure out which one of you is going to answer the question. So we're going to
exactly
tear it up.
We'll just cut each other off.
There you go. That's perfect.
Good thing they're not in the same room. We might be able to see that. Who is tougher?
Yeah. So
I don't even think that's a question, Jason.
What's that?
It's not a question, Jason. That's
I don't think I want to go there.
Oh, we got that out of the way up the start.
Yeah. Okay. So question 1, check.
So Luke, where are you at right now in your schedule?
We're in Nashville. We're actually wrapping up pretty much the long road trip, or the last long road trip of the season. We've had a bunch of 10, 12, 14-day road trips, and this is the last long one of the season. So started for a couple in Columbus before this. Now we're in Nashville, and we get to go home, I think, for 5 games after this, and then a couple little trips after that to finish off the season. But I think we're down to 15 or 16 games left, so we're on the home stretch, wrapping up here for, hopefully a little playoff push.
How has that been for you guys in this new world that we're living in with COVID and the restrictions that you guys are going to have to live by day in and day out? Has it been a tough season that way?
Yeah, I mean, I think the hardest thing is there's no escape. If you're having a bad game or having a rough stretch as a team, usually go out for a few beers and let loose and kind of get away from the game. And I think right now it's just it's a lot of hotel time. They've kind of even changed the schedule. Usually you get in at around 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, guys, lay down, go for dinner, night before the game, stuff like that. We're getting in now at like 6, 7 o'clock at night, just because you sit there in your hotel all night and get up and play the next day. So what do we do? I think we do, like, if we play 4 games a week, we're doing like 11 COVID tests a week. We do 2 on game days. Yeah, it's all that stuff too. So shoving it up your nose. And even if guys are vaccinated and have had COVID, if you have COVID, you get a 90-day holiday, they call it, or whatever. But COVID tests and sitting in the hotel room has definitely been a different year.
Yeah, I think same thing. Like that's actually my favorite part of the NHL. Like over my whole career is dinners on the road with the guys. I mean, like, yeah, it's funny. I always look back at guys I played with, and I can tell you 99% of the games they played, or like how good they played, or the plays they made. But I can tell you stories on the road, or the story that they told me, and that, to me, that's the best part of the NHL, is going out for dinners on the road and kind of experiencing, all the cool cities across North America. And, like Brayden said, now we're kind of hotel living a little bit, and, you're not allowed to hang out with guys. And even, they give us meals and sort of like in the conference room where Uber Eats, but there's like 2 to 3 guys at a table max, and everything's like spread across like massive conference rooms. So you can't get close to anyone and have these conversations. And that's exactly the toughest part is, that grind. And then I think on top of that too, like the families, it's tough on the families, because for us, like, we're in Florida. Florida basically never ever did shut down with COVID, besides at the start. So, just due to all the protocols, like, it's tough on our families too. Like, our families can't leave our houses because, we're directly affected by them, right? So our team's actually been really good as far as staying in line. And I don't think anyone's necessarily worried about getting COVID. It's just sort of how you're shut down after in the quarantines. And, if that runs through the team, like you look at the Vancouver Canucks just happened to, like, you're screwed for at least a couple of weeks. So that's kind of why you want to stay the course.
Well, and they're gonna get back in the rink here tomorrow or the next day, and then their schedule is ridiculous moving ahead. They want to finish it off, So it's they're gonna be playing. They're gonna have to be like old peewee tournaments, 2 a day.
Yeah, I was gonna
play at noon and 6.
Grab a rink burger in the afternoon and get into the second game. Yeah.
Well, speaking of rink burgers and meals on the road, you're probably not talking about Applebee's or Ruby Tuesdays for those meals, fellas? Let's go to you see the Super Bowl receipts after, or whatever, they run them up 100+ thou. What do you guys that you can give us that doesn't incriminate anybody? What's the most expensive dinner you guys chow down at with the boys? Or maybe let's stay away from the cup party, because we're going to touch on that later. Both of you guys got cup parties, so just on a nice go out for dinner, what can that run a guy?
Just a random dinner. I mean,
team dinner.
Oh, a team dinner? I mean, rookie party. You've seen rookie parties get up to, like, I mean, stupid to say, but like $35,000 for a dinner, guys. It's what it is.
But then you go to the nightclub after, so that's like double that at least. Like, I think
15% of the guys' net pay just gone right there.
Yeah,
I love it.
Well, actually, my rookie party, there was like that year, there was like 6 of us. There was me and Sean Couturier and Matt Reed and Zach Ronaldo and a bunch of us, and we got set up in Newport Beach. And it was a Tuesday night, and we had the team dinner or whatever, and we're not in charge of ordering anything. We're just in charge of paying the bill. Apparently they didn't do a good enough job of paying the bill. I think it was like between 6 of us. I want to say around $12,000 or $14,000 for the bill. So Scott Hartnell, he wasn't happy with it. He's like, my rookie dinner, I paid way more than that. So next year he made us do another one and pay the tab again. Doubled us up.
Yeah, I was going to say my rookie dinner, there were 6 rookies, and I played in Toronto, and they capped it at $6,000 a guy. and it didn't even cover half of it. So 36 grand and didn't even cover half of our dinner. We had it in Miami, South Beach. We had a couple of days off in Florida. But one other funny story too, Brayden, I think you were with us. Yeah, we were together in Philadelphia. So we it was New Year's Eve, and we rented out sort of a back room in Hollywood at what's that sushi place called in Hollywood there?
Katsuya.
Yeah. So anyways, to rent it out on New Year's Eve, a back room, like you got to obviously pay a guaranteed price or a minimum or whatever. And we're like, oh yeah, we'll get there, no problem. So I think the guaranteed price for the night for us to rent out the room was 10 grand, like for our whole team. So we get there, and typically with sushi, it's like pre-ordered. It's a sushi place. You can't really go that crazy on sushi. It's the wine bill or the steakhouse that gets you, but the wine bill. And there wasn't a crazy amount of great wines on this, sushi place menu. So yeah. So anyways, there's a bunch of guys start going to the club, like the dinner's over, and the waitress comes over and she's like, hey, just to let you guys know, there's probably about 7 or 8 of us left. She goes, just to let you know, you guys are only at about 6,500, about 7 grand. Like, you guys got to get to 10 grand. So I don't know what you want to order, but you guys got to, round out this bill. So we have a look at like the drink menu, and there's that Louis the 13th.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, what is it? That cognac, and it's about $350 an ounce on the menu.
Shot. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're like, well, fuck, like, let's just order one of these each, and like, we'll get there. And so next thing you know, we're telling stories, and we'll do another round. Yeah, we'll do another round. Not even thinking like, okay, we just got to get to 10 grand. Not even really paying attention. She's not telling us, what we're at. Next thing you know, like an hour and a half later, the bill comes. We're at 18 grand. Like, you mind telling us this? Like, we don't like it that much. We just think we're doing ourselves a favor to get to 10. Next thing you know, the bill's doubled in an hour. We're like, okay, thanks, appreciate it.
Did you guys get to the bottom of the bottle? Whoever buys the last shot out of those bottles is supposed to get the bottle. And apparently they're worth pretty big cash because it's real crystal and all that bullshit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, I mean,
Probably weren't thinking about that at that point.
And who's going to carry it out of there, right?
Yeah, waitress grants us for the bill, and then she took the bottle home too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Took it to Sarcan. Oh,
yeah.
That one out.
So what about going back to your younger days? You guys were both highly touted, drafted really high. When did it kind of come into play? Maybe Luke, you first, of people talking about you that you probably were going to make it in the big leagues.
Oh man. Honestly, like growing up playing minor hockey in Saskatoon, I obviously it was always like our dream and our goal. And, you absolutely love it. And you can't believe, like, growing up meeting an NHL player was like the coolest thing in the world. And then you're not really sure if there's ever really a hope or a chance of getting there. I mean, growing up in Saskatoon, like, you're not really exposed to, massive hockey programs like you are in Toronto or other cities, especially back in the day for us. I think, we just spent a lot of time on the backyard rink and kind of getting better that way. It's totally different, in today's, minor hockey. But I think when it first kind of clicked for me is, you got drafted to Kelowna Rockets and played in the WHL and played in, under 17s and under 18s with Team Canada. And then I think the thing that clicked with me actually was, guys on my team. Coming in the league as a 15, 16-year-old in Kelowna, and guys who you play against in the league or play with are kind of in the American League next year. Like, they're graduating as 19, 20-year-olds. And, you remember going back, you're thinking, well, I had a good game against this guy. He played with, say, the Vancouver Giants or Medicine Hat Tigers. And you're like, well, I held my own against him. And man, this guy got some games in the NHL and he's 20 now. So you keep thinking if you can push and keep working, knowing that you played against him a couple of years ago in the Western League and he's in the NHL, that's kind of when I started thinking, well, maybe this isn't so far away. And like I said, a lot of extra time in the WHL to, practice, after practice, working on different things. That was always my goal. I remember telling my mom and dad when I first got drafted to Kelowna, we went to, the rookie camp as a 14-year-old. I remember telling them that I'm going to stay in this place. I'm going to make the NHL and build a house on the lake here. That's my goal. And I always remember kind of having that in the back of my mind after practice is this is what I'm working for. And, you get closer and closer and then finally it becomes reality. But I don't think there's ever one moment. It's just kind of over time, you kind of figure it out and keep pushing.
I can echo the comments on the house on the lake. I've been in Luke's house on the lake. It's pretty mint. For sure. As Luke would say, it's National League for sure.
Brayden, same as you, kind of the same process, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think mine was, similar, but at the same time, a little bit different. I think for me, Luke was always a year and a half, 2 years, whatever you want to call it, ahead of me, kind of doing things. And that's with, getting drafted in the WHL, and I was still playing minor hockey. And then, World Juniors and getting drafted in the NHL and stuff like that. So for me, I always looked up to him and looked up to kind of what he was doing before me. And I think I was kind of lucky, kind of being the younger brother, kind of getting to see what he was going through, just the big moments and the big stages in a young kid's, career future, with playing in big tournaments or on big stages or getting the chance to get drafted and stuff like that. I always wanted it after seeing that what he was going through, and then when he made the NHL at 19, I was still playing junior at 17. So, and it was my draft year, so I kind of see everything that he went through, and definitely helped me. And I think the biggest thing.
I was going to say that was cool though. In your draft year, didn't
Kelly
tell that story.
Yeah, I think I want to say we had 2 or 3 days off or whatever. And then I was in Brandon. This is a time too where there's no, I was 17, never been to Winnipeg before. No GPS on the iPhone. I have no idea how to read a map, all that type of stuff. So it's not hard getting from Brandon to Winnipeg. Once I get to Winnipeg, I am trying to find the airport. You're reading the signs on the side of the road, and I go there and I'm trying to give myself 2 hours before the flight, and I'm going to Toronto.
No, you got to say though, why they let you come to
go ahead
in the first place.
So,
yeah. How you had 2 days off and
2 days off. I'm going to Toronto to watch Luke, and this is
okay.
I'm going to watch Luke. I was getting into that, but anyways, I'm in Winnipeg, and I give myself 2 hours to get to the airport, and I'm driving, and all of a sudden I see the airport sign, so I veer off, and I grab. This is me being young and stupid. I have literally a backpack with me. I'm going there for a night just to watch a game, and I'm in the private hangar in Winnipeg.
Already PJing.
Yeah,
he's already looking for a PJ. Hasn't even got drafted yet.
Yeah. And I'm scrambling. And then I give myself an hour and a half. I get there literally 40 minutes before, 17 years old. Go out to Toronto. I think it might have been a Saturday night, Hockey Night in Canada game. Haven't seen Luke in a while. Seen his first NHL, or in person, first NHL game. And then I remember just being so excited at the whole game, just eating the whole game. And then after, Luke said he's going to take me out to a place called Harbor 60, and I go out, and we had served me up a big ribeye and nice glass of wine and stuff like that. Just being young and pretty appreciative of Kelly McCrimmon. It doesn't happen very often where you get to leave your junior city at all, never mind to go watch an NHL game and take a flight and all that type of stuff. So
go to the brass rail, probably.
Yeah. Very thankful of Kelly doing that for us.
Oh, that's wicked. And then the draft itself. So what's that experience like? Did you know you were going to go? Both of you went 5th, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So did you guys know that you were going to go 5th? Did you kind of have an idea where you were going to go, or was that a total surprise?
No, I mean, I had no idea where I was going to go. Obviously, you hear rumblings of, where you obviously know kind of where you're ranked, like neighborhood, and kind of who's around you as far as teams and stuff. But actually, the 5th pick my year was the New York Islanders, and the Leafs had the 7th pick. So the Leafs actually ended up trading up to get that pick. And so, I mean, even when they traded up, I still kind of really had no idea if they were going to take me or not. But what a feeling. I mean, it was in Ottawa, and it was just crazy. All the buzz in Canada, obviously draft time was wild, but
the biggest hockey market in the league.
Yeah. But leading into that, actually, the Islanders had the 5th overall pick, and I was pretty sure I wasn't going to go there. Just my interviews before the draft and stuff, I just can tell that they weren't very high on me. I remember one question, they're like, so you think you're a physical, tough defenseman? And I'm kind of nodding in the interviews, and they're like, well, so we play in the same division as Pittsburgh Penguins, right? And I'm like, yeah. Well, they have Sidney Crosby. I'm like, yeah, okay. And so
you're like, I'll bench press that.
So they go, well, if you're a physical guy and you're going to take a run at Sidney Crosby, well, guess who the fighter is on their team? And I'm like, well, yeah, it's George Laroque. And he's, the toughest guy in the league at that time. He's massive, like 260 pounds, and chucks lefts. And the guy's like, well, are you going to fight George Laroque after you've, whatever, hit Sidney Crosby or something like that? I look at him and I'm like, probably not.
Just being honest.
Yeah.
Well, I'm 18. This guy's 35. Like, you think I'm going to come in next year and just get like dummied by the toughest guy in the league? Like, at least like let me work my way up, sort of thing or whatever. And I could just tell they're like, oh, okay. Like, and it was just like a really awkward and weird interview at the time. And I come out of there and I'm like, man, I'm not going to the Islanders. And sure enough, like they traded the pick down, Leafs traded up, and then the rest is history. So.
Do they try to fuck with you in those interviews? It seems like lots of guys have those stories where they're like, same as that, like testing you with weird questions like that. Is that part of the process?
Oh yeah. It's like that, the scouting combine, it's like, they know, like some of the teams know whether you're going 5th or 10th or you're not going, and they don't like you at all. They'll send 2 guys in the room and they'll fuck you or fuck with you, tell you to tell jokes or sing a song or ask you stupid questions. They just put you on uncomfortable spots. But my interview, so with I had LA was obviously interested in me, and I had, you have like 20 interviews in a day or 15 interviews in a day. So sometimes you start to kind of wear out and kind of, space out. But I went to LA and they had this huge suite, and it was probably only 5 to 7 scouts at the front. And then way in the back was Dean Lombardi. And if anyone knows stories about Dean Lombardi, the old GM of LA, he's serious and plays some mind games and stuff like that. So he was feet up on the coffee table or on the couch, leaning back in his chair, and I had 7 scouts all staring at me. And he was asking the questions from about 30 yards back, stuff like that.
With a megaphone.
Yeah. So it was just an awkward interview. I remember that one. And then they sent 2 of the scouts to Saskatoon to interview me on Thode to talk to
Great
me.
Street.
Talk to me and talk to mom and dad and kind of get to know the family and stuff like that. And for LA, they're obviously interested in me, and they drafted me and stuff like that, but they're always worried about me getting in shape. I was obviously chubby and fat when I was in my draft year and stuff like that. So they wanted to know if I had it or not and stuff like that. But I remember when I got drafted by LA, I was unsure. I think Toronto was interested a little bit, but anyways, got picked by LA, and I went up on the stage. And Dean Lombardi, I think Gary Bettman shook my hand, and Dean Lombardi was next, or whatever the order was. And Dean, instead of saying, hey, congrats, like welcome to the team and stuff like that, he shakes my hand. He goes, ready to get your ass to fucking LA and start working out. All right. Happy to be a part of the Kings. So, yeah.
But back to the stories about screwing with you. I remember coming out of like you wait in the hallway, or that's how it used to be. At the combine, like there'd be guys in the room. You'd be like, okay, well, I got an interview now with so-and-so. And there'd be a guy in the room before you, and it'd be like half an hour time slot sort of thing. And I remember Zach Boychuk, he ended up going, I think, like 15th overall to Carolina that year. But I'm waiting outside Washington Capitals door, and he comes out and he goes, wait till you see what's going on in this room. And I'm like, oh God, what do you got? He goes, they made me just sing a song. And I'm like, there's no way. There's no way I'm doing this. And actually, they didn't even ask me. I don't know why they're just screwing with him. But I'm like, well, did you sing a song? He goes, yeah. I go, are you like shitting me? What did you sing? He goes, they made me stand up on my chair and sing a song. I go, what'd you sing? He goes, I had nothing. He goes, I sang Back to School, the song from Billy Madison, Back to School. Like, what kind of joke is this right now? So yeah, they just screw with guys.
Oh, that's cool.
I've heard that. Actually, Brayden, I don't know what we would have been doing if we must have been watching the Mem Cup or something. You were home, so the Blades obviously probably weren't in the playoffs because that doesn't happen very often. Must have been Mem Cup. We were there, and the Washington guys come by the suite, and when they left, Brayden's like, I'll never forget that interview. You said it was
that was the guy though. I have his.
I know. I'm not mentioning names.
Yes.
I can't mention names, but I know exactly who you're talking about.
I think I was like 24 at the time, and I'm like, yep, that was the guy that was screwing with me when I was 17 years old. Yeah, tell jokes and stuff like that.
That's kind of fucked up though. Like I just messing with like you say like 17-year-old kids, but I guess
Yeah.
you see what they're about.
Well, you got to be careful these days.
Oh,
You
yeah.
you get charged for your guys were getting hazed by NHL clubs.
Yeah.
They're just making fun of you.
No, they're just, I think what it is their days are long too, and they got to have some fun if they're not interested in the prospect and stuff like that. And they keep it light on their side.
Oh, that's good. Is there a competition between you guys as brothers? Say World Junior stuff, right? It's obviously a huge honor to play World Juniors. I think Luke, you got a gold medal. Brayden, you got a couple silvers. So is that something that
No real competition then, I guess, eh? Luke freaking handed Brayden his lunch.
But I mean, is that like, do you guys joke around with each other, or do you try to like push each other to move forward, or is it healthy competition, or what is it like between you guys?
No, it's always healthy. I mean, like we've always like trained together in the summer, and like I said, push each other. And that's kind of the nice thing about being close in age, is that we're always, we always had like that sort of inner sort of competition or inner push, I guess. And I think it kind of like probably started, like I said, growing up in the backyard rink. I mean, you're always, your neighborhood buddies aren't at home, or, they got their own thing going on with their family. It's always one-on-one, us versus each other. And I think, that kind of push has always kind of kept going. But as far as like the competition and team awards and all that stuff, I don't really think, that's ever really pushed us. I think individually, like we've, been able to push each other. But as far as like the team stuff, I mean, obviously we're proud of each other. I mean, I will say this though. I mean, when Brayden got his name on the Stanley Cup a year before I did, that was something I did want to, not be outdone by. Watching
he's
him
like, you can keep your gold medals. I got this one.
Yeah, I mean, watching him in the Stanley Cup Finals, like I was more nervous than actually playing in it myself. Like that's kind of how it is, right? You have no control over it, and want to see him, get his name on it. And he was able to do it a year before me, but after he got his name on it, there's no question that I had that sort of extra drive and wanted to find myself on a Stanley Cup team after that. That's probably the top of it for sure.
Okay, all the Little House on the Prairie talk aside, have you guys ever fucking threw down and just got at it?
How did I know this question was going to
come on?
Back in the day, we always tell this story.
We threw down 4 times a week. What do you?
No, but the one, well, it wasn't much of a big one. It was kind of like a stupid one. We were up in Waskesiu, and we must have been, I don't know, 11 and 9 or something like that. And we were just all hanging out with friends and stuff like that. And I grabbed an elastic gun and I pointed it at him and I shot him. And I think I hit him in the eye or somewhere in the eye. And him being bigger and stuff like that, he came over to me and he cracked me in the head and broke his hand. Oh, so he's sitting there and we're in Waskesiu and I'm just going around, haha, didn't hurt. So we, ever since then, we kind of laid off the fights after he cracked his hand.
No, but like my hand like just ballooned up. We're on vacation and like my hand is just like throbbing. It's like a balloon. And he's, like I said, I caught him right in the spot where it didn't really hurt him. I hit him hard though, but my dad is just like, you idiot. So then next thing you know, I have a cast on this big, and it was in the summertime, but back then we were playing like, I think like whatever Saskatchewan Hustling Huskies, like the, AAA, whatever whatever league it is or whatever. But yeah, so I had to miss some time there because, I had like my two fingers taped together, like casted together, and I couldn't get my hand in my glove, and it was all over cracking Brayden in the side of the head. So yeah, that was my dad wasn't very pleased with that one. But yeah, we used to fight all the time. Like it was basement back.
Yeah, lots of like, hit each other on the backyard rink and probably get heated a little bit, stuff like that. There's always a little scrap here or there. Or
Luke, what was the shittiest part of that? Breaking your hand or going to emergency in Prince Albert?
Yeah, exactly. I think I just knew it was broken, and Dad's probably, like you said, already having a couple beers. We're not driving to Prince Albert. You're just gonna have to suck it up today, bud.
Throw some ice on it.
Yeah.
So were you guys almost 2 years apart? So did you play minor hockey together, or were you far enough apart that you guys didn't overlap?
1 year I played. I think it was in was it Adam? Adam, I think I played.
Yeah, I was really young. Yeah,
really young. I played up a couple years to play with Luke. Other than that, we were always just
a year apart, almost.
Year apart
from teams.
Yeah, a year apart, just playing against one another. And then obviously WHL is when we kind of played against each other. Other than that,
And then
we
Philly,
played-
right?
Philly,
Yeah,
yeah.
Philly.
yeah,
3.5 years together in Philly, just about, right? So
What was that
Yeah.
experience like being, obviously growing up and then you're playing in these different places and then get to come together? Did it kind of like build your relationship? I know like being on tour with my brother, we were really close and stuff, but once we traveled the world together and then, we're together all the time, staying together, living together pretty much for those few years, it really brought us together even more, just experiencing that with them. Was that kind of your guys' case, or is it different?
Yeah, I mean, I think so the way it kind of worked out, I was living with Claude Giroux the year before, and he was the captain at the time, and he had a really good relationship with Paul Holmgren. So he kind of gave me like the scoop on draft weekend there when Luke was going to get traded. It's supposed to happen on the first round day. It didn't, and then we thought it fell through, and it ended up happening on the second round day. And we were just obviously pumped, to play with one another in a cool city like Philly that kind of, maybe likes guys like us that are, play a little bit physical and stuff like that. And I just, the cool parts of obviously playing the games itself is awesome, but the stuff away from the rink is awesome. We were living in the same condo complex. He was just a couple floors above me, and having dinners together and driving the rink together. It's the experience of one thing playing in the NHL, and then a second thing, kind of your brothers along for the ride with you, kind of doing it at the same time in the same city. We have. Like we touched before, dinners on the road and all that type of stuff, and playing video games in my condo. And I mean, stuff like that you look back on now and just kind of feel how grateful you are for the whole situation.
But so like exactly what Brayden said, like the whole experience, like you get to experience the same things together. Like, we talked about earlier, like the rookie parties, the dinners, the travel, the jokes with the guys, like all that stuff. But then like the games itself too, like it was, I've always said, like, I don't like playing against Brayden because, like, you want him to succeed. I'm a defenseman, he's a forward, and you're out there against him, and you're like,
just fucking killing him off in the corner.
Exactly. So
Sorry,
you're playing
bro.
with him. Yeah,
that happened once.
Which actually happened one time. It was Brayden's first year in Philly, and I was playing in Toronto, and we were losing like 4-0 right off the start in Philly. And Brayden just got back. He missed like a month and a half with a concussion. And sure enough, the puck gets dumped in my corner. Brayden's got a step on me, and I could have probably put him through the third row, and I laid off on him. I'm like, you guys just got a concussion.
I could have put him through the third row.
And I could have, and like, so I come back in the intermission. We're losing like 5-0 at this time, and sure enough, coach comes in and just tears a strip off me. I don't give a shit if it's your brother, like, fucking playing like, exactly how we're playing right now is what you did to your brother and all this shit. I'm just like, okay, well, he just got back from concussion. I'm not the guy that's going to go do it again. But just like I remember like a couple instances too, like just how you kind of have each other's back a little bit. Like that one time, Brayden, you got buried from behind. I thought your career was almost over from, what was it? Tom Wilson.
Oh yeah.
Tom Wilson. He ran. Like, I seen him. I got the puck in the corner, and he's like, obviously we know Tom Wilson, he hits hard. And the thing about, I don't think he realizes how strong he is or how fast he is. And he came, and I seen him on the corner of my eye, and I kind of tried to turn last second and get out of the way. And he hit me about 4 feet from the boards, neck first.
Right in the numbers.
And I was done. Like,
I remember like, just like being a brother, I was like literally, cause he got kicked out of the game. So I was like, well, I can't fight him this game. So then I remember like, literally I was just about out in the hall going into the Capitals dressing room, like just about trying to find, like, just like that brother instinct. Right. So like things like that, it's cool. And then the one time too, this is another funny story. So we're playing Colorado in Philadelphia, and Brayden's really good friends with Nathan McKinnon. So we go out for dinner the night before. It's like the three of us, me, Brayden, Nate,
Tyson Berry.
And Tyson Berry. Yeah. And we're out for dinner and having a good time. And the next day we play, and the puck gets dumped into my corner, and I'm about, same thing, 5 feet from the boards. And I'm like mid pivot, shoulder checking, like in a vulnerable spot. And McKinnon gives me like a shot from behind, and I go like, it would have been neck first into the boards, but I turn last second and I throw my shoulder into it. And this is like full speed. And right away I knew like my shoulder's gone and I'm done. Right. And I'm like, this fucking guy that we just bought him dinner the night before. so then Brayden
calamari with him the night before, and he's fucking burying me into the boards.
Yeah. So then Brayden, who's like best friends with him, goes up and he's like, okay, well, we're obviously teammates, but Brayden's my brother. So the next face off, I'm out of the game. Brayden goes next face up to McKinnon. He goes, hey, I'm looking for, like, you got to fight me now. Let's go, Nate. And Nate's like, fuck, I'm not fighting you. You kidding me right now? But meanwhile, off the face-off dot, right next to him, it's Jerome McGinley.
Yeah.
And we're winning that game. And Nate goes, I'm not fighting. And McGinley goes, well, I'm looking for one. And Brayden's like, I'm not fucking fighting you. And that's like our idol growing up.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, we were lined up on it's the same thing. I was kind of getting a little bit squirrely, and Jerome's sitting there. I'm like, I was literally waiting at the tunnel for this guy when I was like, I think we were like 10 years old, waiting to get a Calgary, one of the, those old Flames flags that everyone had on their car.
Yeah,
you got those signed or whatever, and he ended up signing at that game, and it's like idol. At least to watch him on Sportsnet all the time, and I knew he can fight too. And he lines up, and I'm like telling Nate, he's like, well, I'm not fighting. Nate's like 20 at the time or 19 at the time, obviously a young stud. Jerome's like, well, let your boys know I'm looking for one. I'm like, I'm sitting there, I'm like bent over at the face-off circle, and I'm like thinking to myself, I'm like, fuck, this would be pretty cool or whatever. I was like, Jerome, he's like, yeah, he's like, I was like, I'll give you one. He's like, yeah. And meanwhile, Tyson Berry's on the ice, and he's good buddies with us too. He's screaming at me. He's like, Shatter. He's like, don't do it. Anyways, I square off with Jerome, and I'm like, oh fuck, here we go. So he grabs me. He's fucking, he boxes and everything. Left, right, fucking just beating the crap. And I got a couple swings into me. I'm like, go to the penalty box. I'm like, fuck, I guess I got fought my childhood idol or whatever. But
oh, that's epic.
How strong was he? Was he, Brayden?
He's just like technical and strong.
Yeah,
he knew what he was doing. And I mean, I was young, and he's obviously gotten a lot more scraps than me. But funny thing is, I have a picture of it. I have literally just like his knuckles just on my forehead. And, the night after the game, Colorado was staying over the night, and I think they were going out to party or whatever in Philadelphia. And I was just walking down the street going to meet some teammates. And who do I see on the street? I see Jerome, I see Tyson, I see all these guys just happen to be walking by. I'm like, not even, and then we just all started dying laughing on the street. I'm like walking by Jerome, and his freaking knuckles are right on my forehead.
I'm like, tattooed on my forehead.
Like, how does this work out? Like, I end up with a freaking 3rd-degree shoulder separation, and Brayden gets freaking dummied by Jerome. I'm like, oh yeah, the Schenn boys did well that night.
and Nate McKinnon walked away with the free meal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, back to Tom Wilson. You guys have both had to go with Tom Wilson, and you both fought some big, tough guys, and lots of them. Where does he rank in there as the toughest that you fought against?
He'd be up there.
Oh,
for me.
Probably, I don't know, bottom 50? No, I'm just
kidding. Next game, it's on.
If you ask me now, it'd be a little bit different. I got him when he was young. Like, he was only like 9. I was 20 or 21. He was only 19. So I think it'd be a lot different now. He's obviously fought some big boys. He's tough. He's strong. He's big. But Luke's fought him a couple times.
Yeah, I mean, he's tough. I mean, my first 3 or 4 years in the league, Chris Neal would always pick on me from Ottawa. I ended up fighting him every year. I was a big boy that did pretty good. Actually, one time too, I don't even know if you'd call it a fight, but Chara, we were playing in, same thing actually goes back to a Gimla somehow, but this is when we were playing in Boston or against Boston in Philadelphia. But Zach Ronaldo like ran Jerome Gimla. So the next thing you know, it's at the far left side, sort of by the penalty box, and everyone goes and scrums it up right away. And all the refs are in there immediately. And I see from the far side, the only guy who's not in the scrum is Chara, and I'm not in the scrum. And I'm looking out of the corner of my eye, I'm like, okay, ref's already in there. I'm screwed. I'm like, pretend like I don't see this guy, right?
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah. So we're like the last one in the scrum, and he pulls me out of the scrum, drags me to center, and we're in Philadelphia. Hey, and I'm like, okay, well, fuck, I can't back down, right? So he's like, drop your gloves. And I'm thinking like, this isn't good because there's no refs around. Like if things get sideways, right?
Yeah, you're on your own.
Yeah. So then I'm like, okay, drop your gloves. And we kind of like, I don't even know if it's like, I was like, my plan is here, like swing, but I don't want to go like toe to toe here. So like, just kind of like hang on and go down sort of thing. And so sure enough, he clocks me with one right through my helmet. And it was at the end of the period. And he hit me so hard that the start of the second period, it was like a baseball on top of my forehead. I could not get my helmet on. I couldn't get back in the game because I couldn't get my helmet on. It was crazy how like strong that guy is. So, I mean, yeah, there's some big boys in the league throughout the years. The game's changed a lot. Like, I started in the league 13 years ago, and back then, like your whole fourth line was total toughness, and your third line had a couple guys that could scrap, and now there's like, you're looking around and you're like, there might be one or two guys in your entire division who can like really,
well, you got to be able to play now, right? And skate. You got to keep up.
Exactly. Yeah, it's totally different. So
if you got that whole package, I always say both you boys like in playoff hockey, and we'll get talking about Stanley Cups before we let you go here, because I'm sure you guys got some good stories on the after parties of that. But St. Louis hasn't been doing so good, and it's it echoes what happened 2 years ago. Brayden, I saw you in Boston. You guys were literally in the basement, climbed right out of the basement that year to win the cup. Things haven't been going so well for you. So what's old number 10 do? Back-to-back frickin' majors, right off the draw. He's fighting, trying to get a spark. That's one thing I appreciate about watching both you guys, not only just knowing you, or maybe that makes it a little more special because of our relationship, but God, I love watching you guys play. And Luke, maybe touch on the Matt Martin deal there in the bubble last year. I think Brayden actually texted me right after warmups, and I don't know how the heck you knew, or you're just like, Luke's going Martin. It's happening right off the face out.
Showing it lots. Actually, quickly, you want to know my Matt Martin story?
Yep.
Yeah.
So like, whatever reason, like you always play Philly, and like didn't even really know the Islander guys at all, and like the way the Nassau Coliseum set up, they'd always have to walk by, and like for whatever reason, the Islander guys always seem to be, they played hard, don't get me wrong, but like they're always friendly after the game and whatever. But anyways, I think Matt Martin's known to be a pretty good guy, and obviously guys love him around the Islanders. But he comes, I get the puck out of the corner, and I see Matt Martin. He's coming from the red line, like skating straight at me, and I'm skating straight up the ice with the puck. And I'm like, he's not coming to hit me like mid-ice. I see him from like 30 feet away. Anyways, he comes and misses me, and I'm kind of right in front of the goalie, in front of Brizgalov, and he misses me, and I sidestep. I'm like, no problem, and he hits the tendy, and he goes down, and he's like laying there, and I'm like, oh my! I pass the puck, I turn around, and Matt and Briz is there, and I'm like, I didn't see like kind of how bad it was. Anyways, I'm like, I'm the guy, I'm the closest to him. I'm like, all right, I guess I'm fighting Matt Martin.
Oh, fuck.
Go up and fight Matt Martin, and I swing once, and then he swings, and like, or no, but even before that, I'm actually staring at him. He's like, Schenner. He goes, I need it. He goes, I need the Pims. Give me one. I'm like, oh no, like you're way out of my weight class. Anyways, he's like, drop your gloves. He goes, so I swing, I think once, he swings, and then like we're kind of sitting there, like kind of like tied up like this, like kind of, I don't know, it wasn't much. He goes, hey, he goes, on the count of 3, he goes, I swing. Like he goes, I swing, you go down. And I'm like, all right, perfect. So I'm like,
fucking right.
I don't need to fucking stand toe to toe with Matt Martin when I'm fucking.
But you were like 20 years old at the time too.
Yeah, I was 20 years old, and he was like 25, 26, fighting big boys in the league. And like, I just, whatever, I kind of thought I had to get in there because he hit Brizgalov anyways. So like he says, all right, when he goes, when I swing, you go down. I'm like, all right. So he swings, he comes over top, and I honestly fall like I just got buckled. And like Luke's sitting there on the bench thinking he had to go to like fight Matt Martin after because he just KO'd me, and I'm sitting in the penalty box just like chuckling up, laughing with them. Fucking
just finishing your conversation.
yeah. Anyways, I just thought that was funny. I've never been in a fight before. He's like, hey, he's like, I know you're like, I'm pretty much tougher than you. He's like, I'm gonna swing, you're gonna go down. I'm like, fuck it, okay,
Yeah,
sounds good. So,
I need the Pims.
yeah,
That's cool.
But no, my Matt Martin. I was just in the playoffs last year. Obviously, Islanders big heavy team. And that's kind of the element. Actually, funny, all the teams that end up in the semifinals and finals the last number of years are all big heavy teams. So I don't know why teams are really going away from that. I think teams are actually starting to circle back to getting back to size in the lineup. But it was kind of one of those things where
just a little promotional. Luke's going to be an unrestricted free agent at the end of this year. Just going to throw that out there. We got to get a little advertising in for the boy.
Oh, the old NFT. Like, you think you're going to win with, figure skaters?
That's right.
It's not going to happen.
You cannot be soft as whale shit. Just doesn't work.
Exactly. But no, it's just kind of one of those things. I mean, same thing. Obviously, you got to know sort of when to, situational times in the game, maybe your team's losing, or you're down in a series or something happens. But I just remember that specific point. I mean, we're kind of going at it a little bit, running each other. I think it was maybe game 1 or game 2 of that series, and kind of going back and forth. And I think we're kind of looking to scrap a little bit, and then, it didn't happen. And then the next game, I wasn't on the ice, and he kind of was like forechecking, and Brayden Point, who's like our stud, centerman, was wheeling the net, and Martin kind of, took a big run at him and launched him a couple feet or whatever. And I just looked back to the D coach and I said, "Hey, give me Martin's next shift." And he's like, "Sure." And I'm like, "Yeah." So then, I go out there and did that. And I've actually, I think it was good in a sense where, sometimes you do things like that and almost kind of, I won't say like me in particular, but just in general, like the game itself. If you go up there and a guy will stand up to maybe their guy who's running around or their tough guy and you do all right, it kind of just lets guys breathe a little bit around you, be like, okay, well, that's over and done with. Maybe he'll settle down and we can just start playing again. So I think that's kind of different things within the game that, are maybe not often talked about, is if you can kind of take care of some of that business that maybe guys don't love doing, or maybe fear going into a game if they're really not that kind of guy, and be like, oh man, is he going to come after me tonight? And if that guy calms down and you kind of, because in a sense he's doing his job, right? So then everyone's good. So
you're being too humble. You shut him down that game, Luke. I remember watching the game. It was all over for the Islanders after that. It was. You guys win that game and win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah. No, I mean,
we were on the fishing trip, JD, just freaking.
That's right.
Shit faced and watching the game.
Don Julio, Bud Lights, you name it. And Menthes. Can't leave out the Menthes.
That doesn't sound like Jason at all, hey? That doesn't sound like you at all, having a couple on the fishing trip.
Just once a year, fellas, whenever you guys get home. That's the only time I drink.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
So speaking of tough guys, you guys both shared a Stanley Cup with one particular guy. And when you talk about playoff teams, I don't even know how you even build one without talking about Big Rig Pat Maroon. Let's hear some Pat Maroon stories, fellas.
Oh man,
this guy's hilarious. Like he's the Big Rig. Like he like rolls out of bed and just throws his gear on and goes and plays. Like he doesn't do any like warming up or nothing. He's like 250, 260 pounds and just goes out there and like knows his role. And I don't know. I mean, the first game I played with him in Tampa was a preseason game in Nashville, and he got in a scrap. It was his first, like I said, first game in Tampa, and you guys just beat. What was it? Did you guys beat Nashville? Did you guys beat them in playoffs to get to the Cup final? Or they were. You guys were always going head to head with them, and they were always the team that thought was going to win the Cup probably before the Blues.
Yeah.
And he had his gloves off in this preseason game. And right away, he skated by the bench, and the whole bench, he always gets chirped, "Hey, you're fat." And he's just like, "Oh yeah, like I don't care. Like, give me something else." I don't like that doesn't faze me or whatever. So the whole bench is giving, "You're fat, you're brutal, Big Rig," and all that stuff. And first game, he didn't even have his cup ring yet from the Blues, and he's already showing him this one. Hey, and like just rubbing it into everyone. Yeah, he's a great teammate, and I like it too. I like playing with him too because like. He's obviously good in the big moments, knows when to step up too, but he's so like lighter on the dressing room too. Like guys could be, you could be going on a tough stretch and guys are all serious, or the coach or is giving it to you or whatever, and he just knows his way to lighten the mood, and pretty personal guy that way. So yeah, he's it's not by accident he's got his name on that thing twice.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, let's get into that. I need some Stanley Cup stories. First of all, obviously, dream come true, win the Stanley Cup. Luke, you're in the bubble, right? You guys won?
Yeah.
Was that year?
Yeah.
So it was probably a different experience altogether than Brayden's would have been. But what happens once the door closes, or once you get out of that bubble? Is it game on, or what's the whole Stanley Cup experience like for you guys?
Not what you ever thought of, as far as like, I mean, there's no fans in the building. We had no family, no friends there. It was just wild. I mean, obviously the last year and a bit with this COVID has just been, nothing's gone, like you'd imagine, but it doesn't take away from the feeling at all as hoisting that thing. So, I mean, going to see Brayden last year and being in Boston for Game 7, like I said, I was the proudest oldest brother in the world. And, our family was there. We, got to get on the ice with the Blues after and, see him hoist it. And like I said, it was a proud feeling, but then fast forward a year later, pretty much, and get to be in the same situation with Tampa. It was just an unbelievable feeling. So when Brayden won it, I never even touched the cup too. Right. So yeah. I didn't think, you'd ever get the chance to win it, but superstitious or whatever. I didn't touch it, but yeah, hoisting that thing for the first time was unbelievable. And then, we spent that night in the bubble and didn't sleep at all. And, just kind of drank with the team. And I guess maybe that's kind of the cool part about it was, you win it with in a typical year, you come in your dressing room after, you got 100 media and you got, fans and family and all that stuff. But we kind of had the opposite where we had no one and we had just the boys. So it was just us in the dressing room. Like we sat in our gear till like 2 a.m. after in the room, just, having cigars and drinking and doing all that stuff. So that's pretty cool. And then we flew home the next day to Tampa. And by that time, COVID's totally off limits and Florida's, gong show to begin with. And we had a boat parade, which was incredible. That was probably one of the best days of my life. It was unbelievable boat parade. I mean, we had the camera crew on our boat who did the Chicago Cubs parade when they won for the first time in like 100 years. They filmed all that. And they said, actually, like theirs is, way bigger, millions of people in the streets of Chicago, but they said actually ours is like way cooler, just being a boat parade. And, you're throwing beers over to the police boat next to you and they're shotgunning a beer with you while they're working. It's pretty cool. So yeah, it was, it's hard to describe. There's no feeling like it, but to have your name engraved on that thing, it's pretty damn special.
Hey, Luke might not have touched the Stanley Cup, but he did eat some Ming shrimp out of Brayden's Stanley Cup. I know that.
Drank out of it, but with the straw. So that's as weird as that is. But yeah.
That's awesome. Brayden, what about you? St. Louis.
Obviously, ours was a little different. Like we had some dark times that year we won. Like we were in last place. I think it was like January 1st or January 3rd. And then I think we won a couple games before it was like the bye week, the All-Star break or whatever. And then after the All-Star break, I think it was like we're on a 2 or 3 game win streak. And then we ended up going to Florida. We played Tampa Bay, Luke. And then between Tampa and Florida, guys are like, you know what? He's like, we need to get together here and we got to, get the boys together. We're going to rally this thing. So we ended up going down to Miami for rookie party and it was Super Bowl. And we ended up partying all night and guys kind of getting in one and then played Florida after that, beat them. We ended up going like on a 10 or 11 game win streak or one of the higher of Blues history. Anyways, after that, we had guys in a room like we talked about before, Patty Maroon or Tyler Bozak, and kind of getting cocky and having fun. We had such a fun group that year, and guys were talking like, "Hey, we may never lose again." Like that's kind of guys were literally having fun and drinking beers. And this team, I've never seen a team that liked to put them back as much as this one. Anyways, so we kind of go into the playoffs and we go into Winnipeg. Winnipeg, you look back on their team, it's just like they were deep. Anyways, Schwartz scored a huge goal, and I think it was game 5 with like 8 seconds left. Or something like that. And then game 6, he got a hat trick. Anyways, that, and then Patty Maroon scored the big one in game 7 to get us to the conference final. And once we got to the conference final, we kind of beat up on the San Jose Sharks. They were good and kind of played that physical brand of hockey and kind of wore them down. And then off to the cup final, where if you talk about the cup final, our experiences are a little bit different. Obviously, there's this bubble, there's this isolation, kind of away from everyone. You get to the cup final and you're just like, it's like this. I mean, it's not the Super Bowl. It's Super Bowl of hockey. Obviously, just media everywhere. Like you're doing media scrums, and there's like 150 media interviewing at once, and just something like you don't really experience. And you're just like, both cities, Boston and St. Louis. Like I remember going to Game 6, and like the way we did in St. Louis, we'd always stay in hotels during the Stanley Cup final, or during the playoffs, just because people are in your house and they kind of want guys to get away from distractions and guys to get sleep and stuff like that. And going to game 6, like there was like people lined up on the street watching our bus, like go to the rink, like thousands of people just kind of like, just to get a glimpse of the bus. Like you're just like sitting, you're like kind of like, what world am I living in here type of thing. And anyways, I remember game 6, I think we got beat like 5-1 or 6-1, like, the cups in the building. And you're just like, I just remember being like, so like defeated after game 6. You're like, how the hell am I going to get up for like game 7? Like you just kind of had your chance to lose. Yeah, you just missed out on a chance to win the cup in St. Louis. Now you got to go to the TD Garden where you're playing the Boston Bruins in game 7. You're like, is this gonna, chances of it going?
That's what you grow up. This is what you dream about. This is what you've worked for your whole career. In game 7, in an away rink though, not at home.
in and away rink, and you're just like hostile. I just remember before the game, just like that, the energy in the building and stuff like that. And then, O'Reilly scored one. Binnington was obviously unbelievable early. And then I think we were up 2-0 after one. And I've been in a situation too, where we're up 2-0 going into three. And I've been in the World Juniors. We're up 3-0 going into three. And like in the back of your mind, like, hey, this can turn at any moment type of thing, especially in the Stanley Cup final. And I was able to score in game 7, obviously one of the bigger goals of my career. And looking back on it now, it's just like, you're just like, wow. Like, and then the party on top of it, partying in the room with the boys, partying on the ice with the families. So the way kind of their cup party went compared to ours is obviously a little bit different. We partied on the plane going back with the cup, and then families met us back at the Enterprise Center in St. Louis. We partied till like 5:36 in the morning, and then I woke up to a text at like 8 o'clock, 8 a.m. and guys are like, "Hey, we're at this place called OB Clark's," and it was the big rig. It was Ryan O'Reilly.
Brett Hall was there probably.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, there was guys that didn't go to bed that night, and there was some guys played game 7, partied all night, and then stayed up to this OB Clark's place till like 7. And then after that, they were done. But some of us went home for 2 or 3 hours of sleep, got there at like noon, and went to OB Clark's. And the word got out on the news channel that the cup was there. And before you knew it, this OB Clark's is kind of like the watering hole for whether it's players or alumni and stuff like that. There was thousands of people outside, and guys were partying with the fans and stuff like that. So we did that the one night. Our second day, we ended up Budweiser, obviously be the factory here in St. Louis. Guys were obviously juiced from I think maybe second or third day, a couple nights of partying. Go to the Budweiser factory, and guys are like, "Okay, we're just going to take it easy or whatever." And we have the upgrade.
Take it easy at the Budweiser factory.
Yeah, exactly.
Where could this go wrong?
So what happens was guys are like, "Okay, we got the cup parade tomorrow, and then we're going to Vegas right after it. So we're going to, savor juice or whatever." Before you know it, we're in the Budweiser factory. Guys are filling it up, just getting absolutely annihilated. Actually, I have some cool pictures from that night. Parade too.
I bet you do.
Yeah, the parade that night, we were just or that day, we kind of turned the corner. We're like, there's a lot of fans, and then turn the next corner. You're like, yeah, there's quite a few people here. And then we went down. It's called Market Street here in St. Louis, and there's, I think it was close to well over 1 million people. Just, before you know it, we took full advantage of it. Guys were it wasn't like the traditional parade, I think, where guys are kind of in their floats, drinking, like waving. Guys just were running around being absolute idiots. It was pretty cool. And after that parade, we ended up going 2 days in Vegas with the cup. So after that, you just have to sit at home for about the next week and just trying to recover. But
how was the flight home from Vegas after all that? Like, was it kind of like the flight of shame? Like you just wanted to crawl out of your own skin almost?
Yeah, exactly what it is. Every time you leave that damn city, you want to do that. So,
That's true. Yeah,
I agree.
Never mind after a week bender, but pretty
Jason,
cool.
you probably partied in Vegas like you won the cup, but you didn't.
Yeah.
Busted. Yeah, that's the thing. It probably wasn't too. You weren't booze blues too bad because you still won the Stanley Cup.
Well, the shitty part is I had to actually check through security at the airport, unlike you guys just climbing on your own jet. That was the only difference, I guess. Hey, you know what? The positive thing, Luke, is you've probably saved a considerable amount of money on playoff tickets compared to Brayden did. What Brayden spent.
Yeah, I mean, playoff tickets. What were they, Brayden? I remember they were like $3,000 or $2,000 in Boston and St. Louis in game 6 and 7. You're buying them for
game 7. Like, so it's crazy. Like, you think it would work different, but when you get to the cup playoffs, you get 2 tickets at home, and then when you get to on the road, you get nothing for rounds 1, 2, 3, 4. But when you're in game or in your Stanley Cup final, you get, I think it's like, I want to say like 80 tickets for the whole team. So like it goes by seniority. Like each you get 2 at the start, so everyone kind of gets 2, and after that, you think like it worked different, like the NHL would supply more tickets. No, guys are buying them on StubHub and like stuff like that. So, so guys got like 7 family members, 10 family members. Like guys are, and StubHub's taking fees on top of it. Like I remember, like I think Jaden Schwartz paid like close to like $8,000 in StubHub fees for game 7. Wow. Just like it's just stupid stuff like that. So I think guys were like, I think at the end of it after game when you have that many people in town and stuff like that, you're buying tickets at $2,500 a pop and getting people in the door. And I think guys had some big bills, but it would have been a different story if you didn't win it. And it's definitely
That's true.
Yeah,
That's
I
true.
feel
Well
like
worth it.
Yeah.
So are we we could see a showdown. I see St. Louis. You guys are coming around here. You just knocked the brother-in-law out of the playoff spot there, Brayden. Thanks. Contract year for Lanny. I'd like to see you work with us a little more on that, please. But what you think you guys got it turned around here, Brayden? What you want to see out of your group?
Yeah, I mean we're
two big wins here, eh?
Yeah, we had three big wins in a row. The thing about our schedule is like, just because of COVID and the way it's set up, it wasn't supposed to be set up like this, but it is now that we played the Yotes like 7 times in a row in the middle of the season, just because of COVID canceled games and stuff like that. So all our games now are the top teams. We got Minnesota, Vegas, and Colorado. I think we got 1 game against Arizona other than that. So we got a tough schedule heading in there, but we're playing well now. Goalie's playing well. I mean, we just went through a tough stretch there. It was like 7 or 8 games of scoring 1 or 2 goals, and it's tough to win in this league when you're doing that. So hopefully these 3 games give us some momentum here heading into the final 15 or 16 games.
Luke, what about the Bolts? You guys are looking pretty solid here right now, huh?
Yeah. I mean, we're we're right on track, I guess, as far as where you'd want to be in the standings. Obviously, like you said, you go through some stretches here and there where your game's maybe not where you'd like it to be as a team, but the good news for us is, we got our best player coming back who hasn't played all year. He had hip surgery, Nikita Kucherov. He hasn't played all year. Had surgery right at the start of the year, and he'll be back probably right at the start of the playoffs. So, he's 100 points every year in the regular season, plus 100, 120, 130 points. So he hasn't played for us. He was, I think he led our team in points last year, when we won the cup too. So to get him back, I mean, there's no bigger deadline, or you could say acquisition coming into the playoffs. Everyone goes out and gets their trade deadline acquisitions, but when you got your best player coming back who hasn't played all year for the playoffs, I think that'll be a huge boost. And saying that, there's a lot of great teams out there. You look at Colorado's on fire right now. Vegas is a solid team in our division. Like Florida and Carolina are good. There's just anyone can beat anyone on any given night. You just kind of gotta have some breaks along the way. You got to get hot, and obviously at the end of the day, you can't win without a goaltender. So lucky for us, both of our teams, we've had goaltenders who've won Stanley Cups, so that's helpful.
Definitely. That's wicked. Well, we've held you for a long time. I know you guys have busy schedules.
Yeah, real tough day. Got to golf and shit. Yeah.
I hear you.
That's National League life.
COVID tests. Yeah.
First time playing for me since I've actually golfed with the cup. That was the last time I had the cup in my cart last time I golfed. So I'll be
Awesome.
That was the last time I played. So it's been a while, but looking forward to get out and swinging it.
Definitely. Well, Scott's got our infamous question for you.
Well, Brayden and Luke, it's been awesome talking to you guys, and what a story you have. 2 Sasky boys just kicking ass daily, and I know Jason, he speaks very highly of you all the time, and your mom and dad, man, shout out to them. They are great people. I've got to sit around the old island and have the odd sip with them. But anyway, that being said, this is the hashtag NFP podcast, and we have our take on it, and we're just wondering what your take is on it. And Brayden, maybe you can kick it off.
Well, exactly what it stands for, obviously the no fucking pussies podcast. It's funny, like I'll wear that hat around the rink all the time. Guys are like, what is NFP? And I'm just like, well, if you really need to know, like what it stands for. But I just, I think, NFP, it's just kind of a way of life or playing the hockey game. Just don't kind of take shit from anyone. Play hard, work hard, and kind of be a good teammate. And it's honestly it's been a slogan around kind of our household for a long time. And respect it and respect what you guys are doing.
Yeah, for me, I mean, same thing. Like JD has brought over. I got that NFP hat in every different color you guys ever made, and I rock them all the time. I absolutely love those things. Wear them all the time too, and it's like, for me, I'm proud. Like it's like I almost feel like a part of like the whole 3D bull riding sort of thing too, just by rocking it. And same thing for Brayden. It's like you don't take shit from anyone, and sometimes you get knocked down. Everyone does in life, and you get back up and you come back swinging even harder. And like I said, so many times where, you feel like you're down, but you're never out, and you kind of have that mentality and that attitude. And that's kind of like what all you Cowboys do, right? So I mean, you get thrown around once in a while, but you keep going and come back harder. And I mean, in reality, I heard Cowboy talk about it on your guys' podcast a while ago, how soft some people are in society is these days, and everyone's got their opinions, and you can't say too much, or people take things the wrong way and get their feelings hurt. But at the end of the day, if you live your life kind of the way that you guys are talking, and that hashtag right there says it all for me. So I mean, pretty cool. Trademark that one all day, and if you can follow that, I mean, you're in a good spot.
Yeah, and you just
nice.
you wear the hat around the locker room, and guys like always ask you what it means, then you tell them, and they pretty much say it couldn't be a more true statement for you guys that kind of bullfight and bull ride and stuff like that. They realize how tough guys are, and how tough you have to be mentally to hop on a bull or stand in front of a bull, and guys are kind of respect what you guys do.
But I wear like that hat with pride too. Like I feel like I wear that hat and I look in the mirror and I'm like, yeah, I can't be a fucking pussy today. Like some guys will like the logo or like the hat, be like, hey, you think you can get me one of those? And be like, and in my mind, I'm like, I probably could, but you don't deserve it. Like
you're a fucking pussy.
I think I believe
good.
I think didn't I send I think I did just a handful, maybe 4 or 5. I sent you guys, and I give one to your dad, and maybe Rosie J Rosehill used with Philly. I think I did some black and orange and put your guys' numbers on them and stuff. Because Rosie deserved one. Like he could wear that hat all day. In fact, I think that's why he come over. He just loved that shit so much.
I texted Jason. That's one guy you need on your podcast is Jay Rose.
We'll get him. I've already talked to Tanner, and I said, yeah, we got it. This guy, like, he grew up
talk
in an
for
auction
days,
market.
and he has stories like crazy too. And he's good at telling them. So
that's good.
Well, tell you what, fellas, I've known you both a long time. And if I was a GM in this league and I wanted to win a Stanley Cup, I can say it with 110% honesty, I'd want both you guys on my lineup. You play the game the way it's supposed to be played. I've spent a lot of time, like Scott said, sitting around the island talking with Jeff about hockey, and Jeff can sit back and everyone thinks he's just a firefighter that raised a couple NHL players, but I know he had a big influence on you guys, and he knows what he's talking about. So you know what they say, you plant a potato, you get a potato. So we'll
potatoes.
Yeah. So we'll be cheering for you fellas. We'd love to see a Schenn versus Schenn playoff Stanley Cup playoff.
Oh man, that'd be tough on the family. I don't know which way they'd be going with that.
Yeah, no shit. It wouldn't be going easy in the corners if that was the case.
No. Brady's going through the third row.
Yeah. What about the consequences guys. Later?
Yeah, that's good. Okay, well, yeah, we've held you for a long time. We'll be watching and cheering you guys on. Thank you very much for joining the NFP podcast presented by 3D Entertainment.